Hi, I'm Will from Tested. I've been testing this guy out for the last 2-3 months at this point. It is the Able Brewing System from Able Brewing up in Portland, Oregon. We've talked to Keith Gerke, who's the founder of Able, a couple times in the past, and this is his baby. The way the Able Brewing System works is simple. It's designed to work with this guy right here, which is the 3rd generation Able Kone. It's a stainless steel mesh filter for things like the Chemex, glass brewer, and this Able Brewing System, which is another pour-over type brewing system. It's made of ceramic. It's made in the United States. So the brewing system is relatively simple. There are 3 parts. The bottom is a pot. It's where the coffee ends up when it's been brewed. In the middle is this filter holder. So basically your cone just sits in here. You dump coffee in here, pour water through there, and it drains through a little hole in the bottom until you have, so that the water and coffee can go down into the pot without a lot of your heat escaping. And then once you're done brewing your coffee, you take the filter holder and the filter off, put the lid on, and it keeps your coffee warm for a little longer than it would otherwise. Using the Able Brewing System is simple. You preheat the pot. I usually dump a little bit of hot water in the bottom as I'm grinding my coffee, just to warm up the pot, which will keep your coffee warmer in the end. Dump your coffee in the top, brew the coffee by pouring water through using a pour-over kettle or something like that. And then, at the end, you take the filter off, set this aside, clean it with some hot water, put the lid on, and pour your coffee in. Enjoy. The benefit of the Able Brewing System compared to, say, a glass Chemex or something like that is that it holds temperature a little bit better than the Chemex filter does just when it's sitting out on the counter. It's still not as good as, say, a vacuum insulated French press, which will keep your coffee warm for a few hours, but it's good enough to go sit down, have a cup of coffee, come back 20 minutes later and have a second cup of coffee, and it'll still be warm enough to drink. In reality, I rarely use the lid. I typically make 1 or 2 cups for myself and my wife, dump them into my cups, and then the lid ends up sitting off to the side where it's out of the way. Cleaning the Able Brewing System is relatively simple. The filter you rinse out. It's hot water from your pour-over kettle is a great way to clean that out, get all the little pieces out. If you let it sit and let the filter cool down before you rinse it out, it can be a real nightmare to get clean. You have to get it in and really scrub. It's usually easier to just heat the metal back up, rinse it out then, and then start from scratch. The upper part rarely gets dirty. There's usually a little tiny bit of coffee that splashes over onto the side, but it's easily rinsed out. And the same goes for the pot. Because it's made of ceramic, once you've dumped your coffee out into your cups, you rinse it out and you're good to go. I do have a few complaints about the Able Brewing System. First off, it's a little bit large for my scale. So when I put it down on here, it's a little bit too big. I can't see the screen on the scale very well. All that means is that I end up weighing my water as it goes into the pour-over kettle rather than as it's going into the brewer itself. That's not that huge a deal. What is a bigger deal is the fact that the lid doesn't fit perfectly on the pot. So it's fine in most orientations, but there's a couple where it just props up on one edge or the other, which is unexpected for a product that's this tightly designed. It's not a huge deal. I'm being a little bit nitpicky, but it is very expensive and it should fit perfectly, I think. The biggest issue with the Able Brewing System is that it is very expensive. It's $120 without the cone, or $160 with the cone. The cone's $60 on its own, so you do get 20 bucks off when you buy the filter and the brewing system together, but this isn't an entry-level brewing system. If you aren't already comfortable with, say, Chemex pour-overs or Hario V60s or something like the AeroPress, all of which are a cheaper way to make great coffee, you may not want to upgrade to this. It's a very specific product. It's gorgeous and I absolutely love it, but it's not for everyone. You also need a fair number of accessories to really get the most out of any kind of a metal pour-over filter. The first one is, of course, a grinder. So, you don't need a crazy expensive grinder, but you do need a decent burr grinder in order to get good quality coffee out of a pour-over. You also need a pour-over kettle. This allows you to have a real fine control over the amount of water that goes into the grounds at any given time. It's super important. They can be anywhere from $30 to $125, $130. And then the last thing, which we've already talked about, is of course the scale. This one's about 20 bucks on Amazon, but they're also, a wide price range on scales as well. So that's the Able Brewing System. I think it's really awesome. It's gorgeous. It's a little bit expensive, but if you're into coffee, it's probably not too much to spend. And it is a much better way to make a pot of coffee that will last for 20 or 30 minutes than, say, a Chemex or an AeroPress or something like that. For Tested, I'm Will. We'll see you guys next time.